All right. Now, how do I get back to the chat? Oh, Lord. See what happens when I start playing around with stuff, guys? Can you hear me? First of all, I don't know if you can hear me. How do I get back to chat? Crap. Oh, here it is. I found it. All right. Why is it taking so long for this chat to load? I saw y'all before. Why can't I see the chat? I found you. All right. Okay. I'm getting there. I'm getting there, guys. This is crazy. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? From Lee County. Can you hear me? And is anybody can anybody hear me? Okay, you can hear me. Okay, that's all I was waiting for. I'm like, am I not, no one's hearing me? Don't mind my terrible lighting, guys. I'm working on it. Okay, so bear with me. All right, but I will get a better mic. I will get better lighting. Right now you're dealing with my crappy HP computer, so bear with us. So, guys, today we are going to talk about Laken Riley. So, if you're here thinking that we're talking about Wade, you are sorely mistaken because I'm tired of his ass. But I definitely wanted to talk about this case because this case has been driving me nuts. I've been watching two different ones, but I actually felt a couple days behind on 2 days now behind on the cult baby one. But I can't, guys, when I talk about that case, right? And, oh my gosh. Well, go, oh my gosh. Go put some cream on it. Go ask, go show Dad. How the hell did you just get that? You literally just ate pizza. Oh God. It's never a dull moment around here. But that case kind of just drives me absolutely nuts because I kind of I know that she did what she did and she's guilty, right? And it's terrible. And anything involving children, I literally can't. It makes my stomach hurt and I just want to lose it, especially that baby's 13 months old. So I can't, my heart hurts, hearing anything about the baby. But then I go back to the mom and then you listen to she's easily manipulated. She believes all these weird. Anybody that joins a cult is automatically question every judgment that you have. But then she also tried to leave. She also got the mom involved. And the mom came out, and then he was threatening to take away the child, and she would never see the child again. So she went back. Everybody that's been around her said she was a great caring mom, and these ideologies are pushed her to this thinking of this was normal. So by all means, she's guilty. But however, it's such a hard battle in my mind to both. I'm just I don't know. I've been getting sick of watching the case where I'm I can't do it, man. It's mentally disturbing me because it's I could tell she's deeply disturbed, right? And then the baby, it's innocent child. I can't ever imagine how anybody could hurt their child. When she was talking to her mom in court, I literally was just that was the first time. I mean, she did cry over her daughter when they were talking about it, and other people have talked about her kid, but she was literally bawling when her mom was she was a really happy baby. She was really smart. And I'm oh God, this is she don't even get a hug her mom, and it's and then I'm but she's guilty. What a terrible a baby, it's I can't, it's a definite tour for me. So I kind of dropped it for the last 2 days and put myself on the Laken Riley trial. So this one has been definitely very controversial. I don't know if you guys have looked into it at all, if you start reading news articles, but a lot of people are Biden has blood on his hands. And because this guy is illegal. He's here. He faked a green card. Him and his brother, his mother, and there was 6 of them living inside of one little small apartment. But he doesn't speak any English, so he's a translator the whole time, telling him stuff. And there's zero emotions whatsoever on his face. It's do you know that you are on trial, buddy? Also, he decided to do a bench trial. He decided he didn't want 12 jury members there listening, 12 of his peers. He decided, nope, I'm just going to do a bench trial and have the judge decide if I'm guilty or not. Now, I don't know if any of you guys seen, just checking the chat real quick. Rebellious Rose says she ready for a new case. For real, y'all are. But yes, this one is, he has no peers. The wife even came up there and they'd take her on spot. Yeah. But then obviously there's so much to go over. So I wanted to keep it like start somewhere because we're going to go into day 5 tomorrow. And I have a little bit left of today's to go through because I was trying to kind of start from the very beginning. So we have a baseline. So for others that want to maybe just have a high level overview and not have to watch the 8 hours court sessions, we can at least start talking about it now. We can start looking into this case with you. This is something that's been kind of intriguing to a lot of people. I noticed today when I was watching live on Law and Crime, I was watching on Court TV. There was 20,000 people watching. So I know that there's a lot of people that have interest in this. And then the baby one, it literally was like the most of 6. So it was kind of like a lot of people are how I feel. I feel like you don't want to hear anything that has to do with a child, let alone a helpless, defenseless little baby. That's just something nobody wants to walk into. But yeah, today was just so crazy. And let me share because I already took some clips. Let me start sharing some stuff here. Bear with me. Are you all right? Did you put cream on your face?
No.
Can you put cream on your face?
I'm just gonna let it sit. Hopefully it'll go away.
Now you need to put like some cortisone on it.
I'll put the cream I got from the doctors on it.
All right, try that. But put something on it. Don't just let it sit like that. Kid has like the most sensitive skin ever. Like literally anything scented or fragrance, and she gets like her like blotches all over. Poor kid. But let me go in here and put this photo. And then I'm learning how to do this, so bear with me. Let's present. What'd you say? Bag bomb? You've been obsessed with Chloe lately? Oh, it's so tough for me. It's been so tough. And in sitting through like the guys that, like what was it, Jason or whatever, sitting through that guy's talking, like when he started talking about women and he was like, yeah, they just don't have the mental intelligence to understand. They're not capable. And I'm like, maybe the ones you picked, buddy, but like the rest of us, we question and everything. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm not doing it, man. You got to tell me. These people, though, I just don't get it. I'm never going to get it because I'm never going to ever be in that kind of situation. However, it's just crazy that these females, this dude had 4 wives, dropped down to 3. Maybe one came to her senses. I don't know. But he isolated them, didn't let them talk to anybody, monitored everything that they did. And then I don't know if you guys saw that there's on YouTube, there's this like 2-hour rant that this dude goes on, that Ben Michaels or whatever, the baby dad, and he's going over like Satan and weird ideologies. And I'm like, then he's just like bashing one particular person. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, this is who you guys are looking up to as a leader? You're letting this guy take away everything from you? Like, he's scary. I can't describe. It's just too much. Law and Crime has too many ads. I've been watching in a Fox 5. No ads? Oh, okay. Oh, good. Michelle Perkins thinks you're right. Law and Crime has too many commercials. Yeah, today it wasn't too bad on the commercials. But it wasn't on Law and Crime. It was Court TV that I had watched it. But it's on pretty much everywhere. It just depends. I think there's something really strange with that case and that man. I think she was scared. I think so too. I think she was like really scared. And then like, I feel like she got to, this is how I feel, right? I feel like she got to a point where she was like, dude, he's never going to let me leave, and he's never going to let my child leave. And if I leave, then that she's within this environment, and I don't want my kid to grow up like that. So she thought in her best interest, in her mental mind, that it's better to free both of them to get them out of this situation. And then she blamed it on sin, saying that she felt she was Googling stuff like, will God forgive me if I've had a child with a married man? Will God forgive my child? And she was actually talking about breastfeeding and stating that when she was feeding the baby, she was feeding the baby her sins. And I was like, well, I mean, and early in that day that she had talked about going to the trial, or going to their like a weird cult meeting, and they talked about how to embrace death and to accept death and move and embrace it. So she literally was like, yeah, okay, they told me I'm feeling this way and I really don't want to live in this environment anymore, so I feel like this is the best option. But like, according to her mom, she was a smart, like, strong-headed girl. Her mom let her leave at 17 because she was just so adamant about it, and she's like, I'm leaving no matter what. And you're like, okay, well, I mean, I have 17-year-olds, and it's anybody who's raised teenagers. If you have, as you know, you have a 17, or if you have a child that is like from the ages of 13, a girl especially from 13 on up, like, I praise you, because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of emotion. It's a lot of crazy all the time. I'm thankful I have really great kids. However, they're still teens. It's still emotions and crazy. And I don't know if my kid does it. Like right now, I give my kids a lot more freedoms because, like, in 2-3 short months, my kid is going to be 18. So it's like, all right, now you're an adult. She's in her senior year, so things are going pretty speedy. We're already halfway through the year, so things are hitting really quick. But so I let her have freedoms because she's an honor roll student. She never causes any grief. So the older ones, yes, check in with me. I have you on Life 360. You're telling me where you're at. I'm seeing that you're where you're at, and they're in stable relationships. They have stable friendships. So I always know they're at one of like 2 places. So it's nothing that I worry about, but like, I do give them those freedoms because they're going to be adults. So I know if my kid was like, I'm not living here anymore, I'm going to go live over here, and it was just always a constant battle, I'd probably be like, you know what? Fine. Go see if how lucky it is out there, and you think you're going to have a better life, but then when the baby got involved and the mom saw, hey, this dude's double your age and he's very creepy and looks like a Charles Manson, I would figure that she'd be like, sweetheart, you're not going anywhere, you or this baby. Either you're going to leave with him, but then the baby's staying here, or you're both staying here. That's the options. I can't judge anybody, though, on their parenting and what kind of lifestyle they had. We weren't there. But it didn't sound like she had a bad life. It just sounded like she was a teen that was like, I'm not going to listen to you, mom. Like, she started talking about how she started dabbling into narcotics and how she didn't talk about it. The attorneys did, but she dabbled into narcotics, and she was thinking that she had these, could read minds, and she knew all these things and had these special gifts. But none of those special gifts have helped her anywhere in her life. So I don't know, all the way around, it's a sad situation. I just think it's just sad in general, because 2 lives are gone, that, like, and then the mom, like, you lose your grandchild and your daughter, and your daughter's not a monster, but she is, it's like putting yourself in that situation, just thinking about it is crazy to me. I can't. Doesn't help when it doesn't stop y'all. No, I definitely don't, man, I can't see these little things. No, I believe it. I like your profile picture, Holly. Very pretty. I got lucky. As soon as my son turned 18, he turned into a responsible adult, but 17 was hard year. I didn't like him at all. Well, so there's that. Sorry, every time I see your name, I gotta do a jokey joke. But honestly, true. It's hard sometimes. I'm like, dude, if that's your biggest concern, you in for a real treat. Magic number was 19 for my kids. That's so crazy. But I wanted to start. Let's get back onto the trekking over here because I'll just keep going on that. And I want to show you guys. This one hurts it's heavy on my heart, man. Heavy on my heart. Okay. So let me present the screen. Let me click off of that. Present. Okay. Now, let's go to share screen. I'm learning, guys. I'm just doing it. I'm so proud. You can teach an old dog new tricks. All right, so share. Okay. So, you guys see my screen right now? I don't know. Is it working? Oh, okay. Here we are. So here we are. I don't know why. I just put it on a Google Mix just so we can kind of have a high level overview here. I appreciate you, Mama. I appreciate you, Kimber. Thanks, Crime Watch. Thanks for always showing some love. And so here I wanted, this is how beautiful this girl is. Like, her face is so adorable. Like, oh, I just want to squish her. Like, and it makes my heart hurt because you hear everything about her. If you guys, we'll cover that portion, but I want to cover just the briefs. But like, it goes into like her friends, her roommates, the caring of it. So let's just start from the very scratch. So this girl here, college student, she is, was 22 years of age, and 22 years young, I should say, because that's so crazy how young she was. It hurts my heart because my kids aren't too far off, and I just couldn't imagine the family in general and anybody that was touched by this girl. So this, she would go jogging. She was at college. She was, going for nursing. Actually excelled very well in that. And we're going to hear more about that down the road. But she went out for her morning jog. And her friends, her roommates, they all go on Find My iPhone. So they were on Find My iPhone, and they noticed that, like, hey, she's not back from her run yet. That's a little weird. And her friend noticed that, like, she was kind of like in a wooded area, and the phone didn't move for like 2 hours. So she's like, well, that's strange. Like, there's no movement, and why would she be in the middle of the woods? So her and her friend went down, and these are both roommates, went down the path that she would normally take to go running. And then they came across one of her ear pods. When she left that day, that's what she was. She had the ear pods in, noise canceling, going out on a run. So it wasn't abnormal, but then they definitely spotted it pretty quickly. Here is the real gem here. This is the guy that they are accusing here. He's on trial. This is Jose Ibarra. We got lots on him too. So here's like the rough timeline. So first, the state came out and they were doing the opening. So I'm going back to day one. So the state came out. That was Sheila Ross, special prosecutor. So you guys have that. Here's the timeline of this. So Thursday, February 22nd of 2024. At 9:03 a.m., she left her house, walked towards this. They're talking about where she went. You'll see that's like a picture that they caught on the CCTV. They even mentioned, like, hey, she's wearing these kind of shoes, black leggings, black jacket, and white AirPods. You see her phone in her hand over there. She's holding onto her phone. Okay, so now at 9:05, she's seen running south. So she's holding her phone. 9:11. They record the 911 call, and it gets answered but there was no response. We have that. I want to play for that for you guys too. At 9:12, 911 attempted to return the phone call twice, but neither was answered. Go down. So now at 11:31, so now you think from that time, 9:12, they try to return her call, nothing, right? 11:31, that's when the roommates. So it really wasn't that far off. Couple hours, her friends were like, okay, so they were pretty quick on top of it. They went looking, and they found the AirPod at 11:46. So they saw that, and right where they notated where they found it, and then they called the PD to report her missing at 12:05. So very quickly they said something's not right. Let's call it in. Dang, that girl had beautiful friendship. I told my kids that this is one thing that I was stressing on. Your friends, like, let them know where you are. I want to track you. I want everybody around to track you. The more the merrier. Tell everybody. Don't ever go anywhere and not tell anybody. At least tell somebody so we have a game point of where we were last name, because these little minutes matter. But so going down now to 12:37, they found her. So between 12:05 and 12:37 during that search, they found her not breathing in the wooded area, 65 feet off the main trail. I wanted to take this one photo to show these were all presented by the state, and I just want to show because they were going over evidence that was found and located. So the cell phone was found, and it was away from her body, but they did find it. They had to look around everywhere, and they were able to locate her cell phone. And you said take a taser too. Now, this is what was really interesting too. Like, I wanted to showcase this, that they notated that something was found inside of a dumpster, and later on they determined that it had the blood of Laken on it. So I think they got right on top of it, but let's get to that, right? So the issue was when they first went to go and look, the brothers look very similar. There is Diego Ibarra and there's Jose Ibarra. They're both brothers. They both look similar. They both have what you see in this photo here, that the very symbolic Adidas hat. And so both of them had the same exact hat, actually. And so at first, when the cops went and they were looking, they originally thought, because they saw the hat, that it was that Diego was the one that was responsible. When they pulled Diego out to talk to him, they started looking at his hands and looking at his body, had him lifting up his shirt, and they didn't see anything on him. They went inside of the house, realized that there was more people inside, and that's when they brought out Jose Ibarra and started notating stuff. So of course, when they realized, they started following the CCTVs around the local area. A lot of this is colleges areas or small apartments. So they were all able to pick up. Most everybody now has got some sort of recording device on the outside of their house. You'd be dumb not to these days because people crazy. And so they noticed that, okay, on this footage, we see that there's he's going behind the building by his house by this dumpster. So they catch him walking that way. And they notate also that there is somebody in right across from where the dumpster is that lives there. And so they're like, okay, like, hey, can we get some of your video footage from last night? They noticed that Jose Ibarra here, who was identified by his mother, went behind this blue dumpster over here, and then went through this in his hand, this sweater in that dumpster. So they already knew, okay, he threw a sweater in there and there was a hat. When they found the hat, it definitely had the DNA on it, and it tied to him. And when they found this inside of the dumpster, it had hair that was tied to Laken and blood that was tied to her, and the DNA tied to him, because she fought like hell, guys. It made me so freaking sad to hear that she spent like 17 minutes fighting to not get raped, and she gets murdered. That it's just devastating to me that we teach all these things, and still, even in that area, they had a news reporter that went out. He was out there for 2 hours and he saw 3 people. So it wasn't very like poppin' area, and she took a side trail. She wasn't on the main roads where the cameras are. She took the side trail, and there was so much brush over there that there was anywhere that this guy could have hid. Let's see what you guys are just popping in the chat too. This is so sad. You guys and the dogs. So they go on a little bit further here, and they start noticing these in the bushes by that same apartment building that he lives in. There's black disposable gloves that they found. So they found them like nicely tucked into the bushes, notated that. They recovered those gloves. Now the gloves had some holes. You'll see them at the thumb, at the wrist, and at one of the fingers, the top. but it did have Laken's DNA on it, and it did tie to him as well. So in this case, they notate a lot, and they talk about this hole in the thumb. We're going to get to that. I want you guys to notate, we're talking about a hole over here in this plastic rubber glove, the cheapest ones, probably from Dollar Tree, because, 6 of them living up in an apartment. I can't imagine you had good quality gloves going on. You didn't have the OJ, you didn't have that. So when they did the DNA, they showed this is the difference. So here's the jacket. This is as they took a picture before they removed it from the dumpster. And so they notated, hey, it's got a mixture of Laken's DNA and the defendant's DNA. Hair on the jacket was consistent with Laken's, and the hair was forcibly removed. They did the contact swabs. However, they did not, and I notated this here, they did not do DNA on her hair, because the blood and her blood and his blood were the only two that were located on that jacket, and the hair was consistent with hers. So they felt the blood was going to overweigh anything and did not test that. So just like I like to stress that, because everybody gets wrapped up in those things from previous cases. If they have overwhelming evidence, they don't need the hair would be good, right? But that's if you have nothing else. Blood's going to trump everything else. For that percentage to show, hey, this is accurate. So they didn't need to test her hair because they had enough to say this is definitely her. They did do a sexual assault kit on her. She was negative for that male DNA, no semen present, but they did notice that her underwear was forcibly torn. When she was found, she had 30 layers on, like a sports bra, a shirt, and then like a overcoat, and that was all ripped off. She was bare chest. By the time that she was in the trail to the time that 36 feet away into the wooded area that she was kind of hidden from, that's what took them a little while to find her. They were able to see that she was dragged or something rotten over there. So they were assuming by the fact that her pants were down, her underwear was forcibly torn, her shirt was all the way off, that he was attempting to do this. Now, my theory is that she was fighting, right? 17 minutes of her life, and she's giving it her all. She was able to scratch him up, get DNA underneath her fingernails, do a lot of damage. And I'm sure she was screaming like hell. And I think that this guy just freaked out because he's like, no, and just took a rock to her, got her a couple times in the head, and it stopped her from screaming, sure. But he didn't get to do what I think he was setting out to do. I don't think it was a targeted attack so far from what I've seen. I feel like he just happened to notice any girl that was in the area that, hey, if I hide here and people run on these trails and I see it all the time, I'll get one of them isolated. I just feel he's definitely sick and twisted. But going back here, this picture, I don't know can you even see that? I don't know if I can move. Can I zoom in? Because Jesus, that's small. Let's try to see if I can make the size bigger. Let's make this. Can I full screen it? Oh crap, what did I do? What did I do to it? Oh, I just pushed it down here. Okay. So I wanted to show this. I actually think I need to make it smaller because you can't see now. I cut out. Okay. So here's the different, if you guys look on here, can you see it? I don't know if it's too small or not. He could have, Kimberly, but they said that they didn't detect anything like that happening within that time frame. So I would think that latex or anything like that would be picked up on. That's something that we have a lot of. I know something that happened to me and it was picked up, that latex portion. So I feel like they would have definitely notated that, and they did not, at least so far. We're still in the trial. Things could come up. We don't know, but that's so far they've made it very adamant that there was negative. No semen present anywhere, and that her underwear was torn. They didn't see anything beyond that. But on this photo, he stopped. Oh yeah, I'm getting there, Duty Ron. I'm getting there. But he definitely did do that. I have that on here as well. Duty, it's awesome always to see you. I appreciate when you pop in. So I always like to just bring out the stuff that we do know. And so here they show, if you guys look on this little map, I don't know if you guys can, I don't think you can see my cursor, but it shows like his house, their house over by this road that you see that's going long ways down. Um, yes, the sex kit was negative. I saw that as well. And then, so right over here, that's where he's living. You see that little yellow pin? That's the dumpster where we saw that he dumped that sweater at. There's the bus stop. That is something I'm going to bring you to in a minute. All the way up at the very top is where she lived, where her house was. And then over here in the middle, or like in that forest area, is where her body was located. And so I just wanted to show you the close proximity of where all these locations are. He definitely lived right in that area. And yes, we're going to get to that. Let's go down here. February 23rd. This is the encounter when they reach out and they see the family members, or like they catch this guy and they're like, oh, that hat looks super familiar. So they automatically think it's this dude, this Diego El Gocho. Of course, they all have names, right? Here's the mom and her glory, Rosabelli La Gorda. Couldn't imagine why I called her that, but I try to be nice here. And they got Manny, that's his the brother, and then Jose. So they did do body cam footage. They did not give us the actual yes, they did show it, but we're still on day one here. We'll get there. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So here's all the people that were living in that small apartment. There's all of these guys, all of the family members were living there, and it's like literally the smallest one bedroom. If you haven't seen the body cam, we are going to show. I will show you guys that. But I wanted to kind of just paint the picture here. These are the ring camera footages that were taken. In this first one, they show at 10:21 that morning after he had gotten back, obviously, so the timeline adds up. He left his apartment carrying a cellophane bag that had unknown items, and he brought it to the dumpster that was in the back of his house. So they notated that even though they were able to capture the footage after the fact, by the time they went to that dumpster, it had been dumped that day. So nothing they were able to recover from there. They only were able to recover from the one that was the other dumpster that he first went to and dumped that bloody hoodie. But you see that he immediately comes home after doing what he's doing, and you see him in this little red outfit. So he left his apartment in full black with a full black hat, then came back and changed his clothes, grabbed a bag of stuff. I'm assuming it's his clothes and whatever else that had any sort of blood on it or DNA, and threw it in that dumpster before anybody could see it.
I'm already halfway through my ear, but it's closed at the bottom. I need help.
All right, ask Dad. I'm on a live right now. You don't see it, but I am. It's not like there she used to be being on my phone. What'd you say, Nancy? I can't stand Nancy Grace. I'm sorry if you see this, Nancy Grace, but you really irk me, girl. You just ain't for me, and you're almost always wrong. I'm just saying. Peace. I love me some Duty Round. Yeah, I love that. All right, so let's get back. So now he changes clothes, everything now we go down here. So they find in his house and in his apartment, when they did the search, they found black disposable gloves, same source as the gloves that they notated that had the DNA on it, right? They found 2 Samsung cell phones, no bloody clothing or blood. And that shirt that he was wearing and the satchel style bag that he was wearing and caught on camera with before was nowhere to be found in that place. So I'm assuming it was in that bag that he disposed of. On Laken's phone, they caught Jose Ibarra's left thumbprint. And so the left thumbprint's there. However, I loved how the defense comes up and says, pay attention to the thumbprint and those gloves. He's trying to be like OJ, thinking he's like Shapiro over here, but he's like, the hole in the thumb, that whole thumbprint wouldn't have been able to do that with the glove, even with the little hole that was there. Apparently doesn't know how rubber gloves work. And there was a lot going on. There was a lot of struggles. So either way, I was looking like, this guy being serious for real right now? Like I but he wanted to push. He said it's circumstantial. Like, nope. That DNA matched when they matched his thumbprint. That matched 100%. They compared it with his brothers, his mom, everybody that they had that was DNA related, and were able to make a definitive print on her phone that he touched. So, good luck, because the evidence is overwhelming. So now we have the state was talking about the different types of DNA testing. So there's the traditional testing, jackets, rocks, tree. So they're definitely that's where they start, right? Obviously, you're not going to get fingerprints and stuff off of the rocks or trees. So you need to go a little further. They do the fingernail testing. So they'll start testing all that underneath, seeing if they can get DNA from underneath her fingers. And then they have the true allele. That's jacket, gloves, fingernails, straw, every little thing. So once they collect all this evidence, then they can do that duty wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that this is how it works. From what I understood, they start here, they move on to the YSRT testing. And then once they have all those testings, then they bring it to true allele, and then they run everything that they have to get the DNA. So is he still here? I don't know. He and his roommate received a free flight to Georgia from New York City, courtesy of the Biden administration. And guys, I am all set for anybody that wants to come here from any other country, but do it the right way, like everybody else does. And they come in and they do everything right. They're legally documented. They get jobs. And then we provide a hell of a lot for people that are from different countries to be able to get on their feet, doing it the right way. But you're still contributing to society and you're not doing it illegally. This one is very close to me because I got into a very bad accident when I was younger, and the guy was not from here. So what do? They deport you. And that was pretty much all they did, because the guy didn't have anything. No license, no insurance, no nothing. So yay. But anyhow, it's something that kind of really bothers me because I have a personal story about it. And I'm by all means, I accept everybody, but do it the right way. This guy, these families, and not only that, he had a green card that was not even right. The cop had stated that on one side it had one birth date, and the other way it had a different date. So he already knew by looking at it that it was a fraudulent green card. So automatically he was getting detained. Just for that alone. And his mom and his brother and the whole family just got a free trip to detainment for falsifying documents. That's kind of crazy to me. Like, they got an apartment and everything. Like, Snapchat selfies. Yes, the Snapchat selfies. Yeah, I have that too. Not a Nancy fan here. Tax dollars paid for transport this illegal. Yes, that's just crazy to me. It's maddening for sure. But then I see people that are veterans that have worked hard their whole entire life, and we ain't helping them. We ain't giving them nothing. We're actually kicking them out of buildings to put people up in there that really haven't done anything to earn it. And these guys that have earned it, we're like, too bad. Figure it out, buddy. Like, it's just crazy. And then we don't focus on them. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. It's a whole nother rabbit. I ain't gonna go there because then I'm gonna get fired up. The gloves he was wearing ripped, and his thumbprint made it on her phone as she tried to fight him off. That's what I think too. Those gloves are so cheap anyways. I wouldn't even doubt it. The damn thumbprint showed through that freaking thing. It was cheap. There was rips all over it. Like, I don't know what he was doing. So now that we get down to like what the medical examiner noticed, they said evidence of the injuries, complex depressed skull fracture, 8 lacerations of the skull. So he beat her with that rock repetitively. I'm gonna see if I can pronounce this. Small subarachnoid hemorrhage, abrasions on the face, neck, and torso, and petechia on both eyes, which is like I kind of put it down here so you guys can see it. So I wrote it kind of how it sounds, petechia. So that happens when some sort of suffocation takes place. I looked it up, and it says it could happen from like drowning, but strangulation as well. So it was kind of both. Correct me if I'm wrong, Duty Wrong. Yeah, I love it when you're in here to make sure you're giving us all the facts. I mean, I take it for what I physically grabbed, because obviously this was all presented in the trial. And then I just researched things because I didn't know that keyword petechia. I had to look that up. They show them all ripped. It all happened during the 17 minutes. She's fought so hard. Yeah, the blood vessels in the eyes that burst. Yeah, we saw that in John O'Keefe. John O'Keefe had that going on as well. But his was like, that was, we won't even get started there. So the medical examiner now listed the cause of death: combined effects of blunt force head trauma and asphyxia. So obviously, we already know he had hit her with that rock and then choked her out, vice versa. He was trying to silence her, and I mean, I wish he would tell us something of what the guy has had no damn facial reactions, and I don't even know if he knows where he's at. Like, he just like looking around like, I really don't understand why he chose a bench trial either. Like, guy, my dude, you literally should be having 12 people listen to this. You have better chances. Why the hell would you want a bench trial? This guy gonna see right through you. So now going down to the inner parts of the day, right? Coming down, 6:52 a.m. Male wearing dark slides. So this is the morning before. Okay, we already saw the timeline from when this happened to her. 6:52 that morning, he is over here, and that's where I was showing you guys by that bus stop. That was right there by his house, right there in the trails. Behind it is the trails that take you through the woods and the running path. So a lot of students use that bus stop right there. And they saw him in the frame wearing dark slides, dark colored pants, dark colored jacket, gray sling bag, and was carrying a white cup. And so he leaves the apartment area through the path that connects to the extension. So he's going down by the area that you'll later see him. But he stops over here at 7:01. He's walking up to this apartment complex over here where this college student lives. And these are where like the senior students live, the grads. And so they see him on camera trying to get into this apartment. And he's trying to open up the door. So they got him on camera doing that. Now, between 7:01 and 7:55, he went to that apartment door 6 times. He's seen on camera trying to open the door twice. So he's already being a peeping Tom and creeping this girl out, a girl that lived there. She ends up calling 911. So she's calling 911. She's like, hey, this guy's trying to get into my house. And when she tried to look through the peephole, he ducked down, and they even caught that on camera, him ducking. So he's trying to avoid that. So they already had him on camera for that. And then they find that cup that he was caught with. Of course, when they found that, obviously it's sticking out like a sore thumb in the middle of nowhere. So they test that cup, and lo and behold, it's got his DNA on it. So this guy just over here just, creating a whole muckery. And then I hate it. I was like, guy, you're freaking so guilty. I feel bad for these defense attorneys. You really have nothing. Like, it's slam dunk. But here's the photos obtained. So now 4:30. This is now before he was a peeping Tom, before he did the murder. He's at 4:30 in the morning taking pictures of him in the shirt that's missing, with that same hat that had like the clay on it from the back area that the cop had notated and had DNA on it. There was blood located. So there's the hat. And then at 5:37, now here he is wearing that jacket that they find in the dumpster. Like, these are, and you're putting it on your own Snapchat. So these are all like, thank you for giving us everything, buddy. You are smart as hell. But look at it. Here's another selfie that he took of himself. There's that bag. They never located that bag. I don't know what he did with that or how he disposed of that, but that was never located. And I don't know what kind of defense. Petechial hemorrhaging occurs when blood leaks out of the capillaries that are located directly under the skin. That's so crazy. Yes, the girl's so beautiful. It makes my heart hurt so bad for her. So we go over. So the defense, he really came out. Now this prosecutor, I absolutely loved her. She came out. She gave all like pretty much to the point, came out that all that timeline was what she had provided. So she had the dates, she had the time, she had everything marked down, all the DNA that she had found, plus she has more that she's going to add down the road, but she wanted to show the major key parts where all of it's tying to him. It could have at one point been the brother. However, they were able to determine that Diego, he has a genetic deformity that they were able to pick up on to eliminate him. So his blood, it came down 100% to be his. So they knew automatically that Jose was the person that was responsible. Now, I wanted to show you guys, let's go to day one because I wanted to show you guys, let me share screen. They better not just deport him. Like, I swear to God, they better not just deport. Like, you don't get to take somebody's life and then just get deported. That's just crazy to me. Like, what does that say for anybody else that comes into the country? Yeah, if you go ahead and harm our people, you're just going to get brought back to where you came from. Okay, it's a little bit different than doing getting in a car accident or, leaving someone at a crime scene that could have not made it. I don't even want to get and start into that because I'll get on a whole rabbit hole. But I do want to show you this. Is there a chat donate button? And where? I'm still learning. I don't know. I saw, thank you, by the way, Kimberly. I saw that you became a member. You got a membership. So I want to thank you for that. I don't know how to do it. So don't ask me. I don't know. I just pushed the buttons. I just pushed the buttons. And I don't know much more than that. All right, let me pull up this. I do have one for Diane Ruiz's voice. Yes, that is in my bio on the link on my bio on the main part. Let me see. Let's go to present. I'm learning. I'm getting there, guys. Little by little, I want to get more used to this like using YouTube. I like YouTube. I love, like right now, it feels so peaceful. The chat is beautiful. You guys, totally different vibe. And I'm really appreciating it. So I thank you for that. Shout outs to my mods always. I love y'all. One of y'all is always around and I appreciate you for that. Actually, I see two of you right now. But it is kind of late too. It's like 9:40 on Eastern time. So that's probably good for y'all California peoples. Let's share screen. Let's do, share screen. Let's go to this one. Oh, I see you more. Oh, are you just silent creeper? You silent creeper, you. Okay, it's loading. Give me a second here. Oh, it takes 30% of the super chats. Oh, thank you, Kimberly. She donated 5 memberships. I don't know how that works, but thank you. You're up all night, so there's that. It doesn't get old, I tell you. Okay, so I wanted to skip over. Let me get to... Where is it? Not the cop part. This lady. So also when they notated in the very beginning, actually, I think she has them in here. No? Did she not play those? I don't remember if it was on, I think it was on day 2. Yes, day 2. This is day 1. Okay, so day 1, if you get a rundown, here's the people that come on day 1. Day 1 is her roommates, and then they have the 911 coordinator, and then they have the University of PD, the Sergeant Kenneth that reported out there, and then they had another roommate and the special agent. I love the special agent. She brought a little bit more evidence to show. They opened it up right away. They did not play in this beginning Let me see if I think at the very beginning she plays the 911 call.
This is not comfortable, but it's the best we can do.
There's a faster,
I really need to pay for
better way
premium
to Amazon
too.
that has nothing to do
We don't
with
get
selling
commercials,
physical
so
products. It's Amazon's other company, Audible.
I'm too cheap, guys. Eventually, we
Um,
got to start somewhere, right? Let's go to. Let's skip over you right there. Yeah, look at him. Look at this guy.
May it please the court, counsel. On February 22nd, Jose Ibarra put on a black hat, a hoodie-style jacket, and some black kitchen-style disposable gloves. And he went hunting for females on the University of Georgia's campus. And in his hunt, he encountered 22-year-old Laken Riley on her morning jog. And when Laken Riley refused to be his rape victim, he bashed her skull in with a rock repeatedly. That is what this case is all about. The evidence will show that Laken fought. She fought for her life. She fought for her dignity. And in that fight, she caused this defendant to leave forensic evidence behind. She also marked her killer for the entire world to see. The forensic evidence that he left behind in this fight is his DNA, and only his DNA and Laken's, underneath Laken's right fingernails. He also left behind in a struggle with her over her phone, because the court will hear that she called 911. He left behind his left thumbprint on her iPhone, which was found not far from her body at the crime scene. And it is that forensic evidence alone that would give you enough evidence to find him guilty as charged on the counts in this indictment. But the evidence in this case will come in basically three forms. There'll be forensic evidence, there will be digital evidence, and there will be video evidence. And all three forms of those evidence will point to one person, Jose Ibarra, as the killer of Laken Riley. And this is not working. We'll start with a timeline, and the timeline is established by a lot of the digital evidence that you're going to hear about.
So you guys already saw that.
And for Laken, that timeline begins basically at 9:03 in the morning. At 9:03 on Thursday, February 22nd, Laken Riley did something that she does all the time, and she went out for a morning jog. She lives not far from the crime scene, and Your Honor is going to see several maps in this case, and you will see that where Laken Riley lived, where the defendant lived, where our other victim, who you're going to hear from in this trial, Tasia Swee, lived, Building S at the University of Housing, at University of Georgia Student Housing, and where items of evidence were dumped in this case, and where Laken was murdered. There, it's all clustered together. And it's all clustered together within about a half-mile radius of one another. And you'll see several maps throughout this case. But she left her house at 9:03 in the morning. We know that for several reasons. She was captured on her Ring doorbell. And you'll see that video through our first witness. And she also was captured on a trail cam that becomes very important in this case. And at about 9:05 a.m., she's captured running from her house down Rogers Road, eventually towards the crime scene where she encounters this defendant.
Commercial? No! God dang it. I gotta get better at this. Yep.
She is running, as you will see, with a few things that are important. 2 AirPods, and they are noise canceling AirPods. And her iPhone is in her left hand. She's wearing typical running clothes, and you're going to hear a little bit about how she runs, what she runs with, because these things are important to judge what eventually happened between her and this defendant on the trail. She wears typically very tight running clothes because that's what's comfortable when you run, so it doesn't get it doesn't come off or get loose when you're running. And so this particular day, she's wearing running tights, white Hoka shoes, and 3 layers of clothing on her top. She's wearing a running bra, a shirt, and a tight black Lululemon jacket when she leaves her house. At 9:11 a.m. exactly, Laken is a few minutes into her run, and we have some digital data, which we'll talk to you about, which is a Garmin watch that Laken had gotten for Christmas that she's wearing on her run. And this watch captured a lot of important data that you're going to hear about. But she is on her run, and her phone, she activates the emergency function of her iPhone. And you're going to hear about that through testimony of the witnesses who examined her phone. She activates the emergency function of her iPhone, and she attempts to call 911, and she in fact does call 911. Her call is connected to ACC PD. At 9:12, you'll hear that the call was hung up, and I'm going to play the call for you. At 9:12, the call was hung up by the caller, not the 911 center.
Night,
The
Michelle.
911 center did not hang up on Laken Riley. The phone hung up. And at 9:12, they tried to call her back, and there was no answer. This is an enhanced version of the 911 call, and there will be several stipulations between the parties in this case. We will execute a waiver of them as they come in. One of the stipulations was that this 911 call was sent to the FBI in Quantico, where they attempted to enhance the call. And this is a 1 minute and 8 second call, and this is the enhanced version of that call. And I'd like the court, when listening to the call, right about 55 seconds
Night, Michelle.
into the call, you're going to hear a voice.
Clark County 911. Hello, this is Clark County 911. Hello, Clark County 911. Can anyone hear me? Clark County 911.
Do you hear that? No tango.
Yo Tango. There is a long break in what happens next. It was Laken's mom, who Laken usually talks to on her run, who started calling Laken at around 9:06 that morning. And you'll just see the call logs from that and the evidence of that through Laken's phone. And when she could not reach Laken, she began calling Laken's 3 roommates. And you'll meet all 3 of them: Lily Steiner, Sophia Magana, and Connolly Huff. All 3 of them are University of Georgia students at the time. They were all seniors. And Laken herself was at UGA, but had recently transferred to the University of Augusta Athens campus because she wanted to be a nurse. But the 4 of them still live together. And the roommates are all, I would say, technologically savvy and security savvy. And they all 4 had iPhones. And there's a function with an iPhone called Find My iPhone, which you can share your location with other people. And the 4 ladies in that house, roommates, shared their digital location with one another 24/7. And so when Allison Phillips, Laken's mom, began calling.
So that's the part that I want to talk about too. So make sure you tell your kids in your like, because I mean, you remember being a teenager trying to, or even being like a college student or anything, telling your parents stuff like, yeah, a lot of times kids don't do that. So they rely on other people. If they can at least keep in contact with somebody, like those roommates all had her tracked on their phones. All of them tracked each other. That was the most genius thing they could have ever done. Honestly, it didn't save her, unfortunately, but they located her pretty quickly. Within that time, they automatically red flagged. She could have been out there for a while if no one noticed, because he dragged her like 63 feet over from where it was. They showed her watch. So everybody go out and run and get your kids some sort of watch, Apple Watch, Samsung watch, Garmin watch, whatever it is. Clearly it's doing a lot for the health, because they were able to show that too later on. I believe it was today or yesterday. They showed how she ran. And then she hits this like wall, like basically it's like something stops her dead in her tracks. And then her heart starts going up. You'll watch her as so you literally can see the timeline between when she was first attacked and then her body being dragged, and then her heart rate just stopped. Like her watch now detected no heartbeat. It was so rapid in between that time period. And then she had the defensive or the wounds on her back, like she was dragged. So a lot of it lined up with exactly the technology. So I just, it's very eye opening. And those things could potentially save a life. In this case, at least it gave them the information to paint the picture, because clearly this guy ain't saying a damn word. But now everybody else can form that based on that data that's proven. So I'm sure there's little things that are a little bit off, not always, but when it comes to like Apple and Garmin, don't be getting your kids that like Dollar General one, right? Go invest in the good stuff, because that stuff don't lie. Even I loved it, Turtle Boy. If you guys don't watch Turtle Boy, he actually did like a test on it. It was saying, hey, like I'm trying to walk downstairs and pretending with my watch, and my watch is like, yeah, you ain't walking downstairs, bro. And it would only calculate when he physically was taking steps, because he was trying to cheat it. And it was like, no, that's not how you normally walk. So it automatically was not picking up those movements. But when he was physically walking up and downstairs, it was picking that up. So those things are very key to be able to use in a trial, because it does come in as factual information. It is picking up those things, your location, your heart rate, what happened in between that time. When did you stop moving? There was plenty of movements even after he had dragged her. There was one area of leaves that was just like untouched. It's like there was definitely some sort of altercation, because there was no leaves in that general area, and she was found away from that. So you could definitely see that there was a struggle or something. There was blood on the tree, blood on the rocks. That was the first thing when they walked up that they had noticed pretty quickly, besides the fact that her clothes were like pretty much, ripped off, and she was bleeding profusely out of her head. They did try to do, the cop said she was cold to the touch, but he still tried to do CPR and life-saving measures. The fire and ambulance, once they came, they also tried doing life-saving measures with no heartbeat. They used chest compressions and the paddles, and they still there wasn't anything they could do, but they at least tried, hoping that maybe there's some weird miracle would happen. But they said that they all knew that she was gone. But they were not going to just not try. So it just made me so sad just to think about it, because my kids are just like in that age group, and I couldn't imagine like being that mom, or like even the friends, the group she had, and like even being her. Like she literally fought as hard as she could. There was nothing she could have done better than what she did besides stay on the main trail where the cameras were. But because she went off on the one side road that she probably got accustomed to going, because it was never a problem and she was used to going there, and she's running, so she's not thinking about it. And that's crazy to me to think about when you tell your kids these things, like, this is why I don't want you just disappearing, that I want to see your data, because I have a very short window to try to find you, or locate where you are. So it definitely made me appreciate a lot more. I had a very lengthy discussion with my kids today about it, I think they get tired of my lectures, but it's all for the benefits because most of the time they don't. I think I over scare my kids because they're too aware of their surroundings, but I don't think that's such a thing because you should be observant of everything around. I'm over there like, that's a dark, this path has a camera and that path looks sketchy and bushy and no cameras and no people. Yeah, I ain't doing that. Broad daylight or not. I'm just naturally just not gonna feel comfortable doing that. And it just sucks that it probably was a common theme and she was just running that same path every day. And it was just something non out of the norm for her, I thought there was only one set of cameras as soon as you walk into the park area. Yeah, well, they don't have any on those like little side. The girls, when they found her AirPods, said that they had to get out. So they started getting they had to get all the way out of where they were before they even got a signal for their phone. It was a dead zone. So they couldn't even call the cops from where they were because it wasn't picking up signal. So how she got a signal from her watch, amazing, man. Nothing wrong with being street aware. Your eldest is 34. Yeah, that's still babies though to you, right? I don't even bring my garbage pail out. Oh my, it's so funny you said that. I literally left a bag of trash on the porch last night, and I was like, why didn't you take that to the trash? I'm like, it was scary out there. I'm not just going to go outside without alerting anybody that I'm going. Like, you go out there. That looks dark and creepy. I'm not doing it. I don't trust it. There could be a rabid raccoon. I don't even skunk. Something's out. I don't trust it. But it just makes me so sad because we do everything that we can to try to protect our kids. And like, my heart hurts for this mother. I feel like so in pain for her. I wanted to show the pictures of I think that was yesterday though. Oh yeah, this one. I wanted to show you, right? Is it here? All right, so this
burnout. We all experience it at some point. It's so important to me that I've actually been working on it in therapy. In fact, with the help of BetterHelp, I've learned.
Fantastic. But there's more than just this video. You'll see an individual wearing a dark
I wanted to show you the actual video
dark hat,
so you can see him
and holding a styrofoam cup.
There's that cup they found.
And UGA attempted to enhance this video. GBI Cyber attempted to enhance this video. This is about as good as it gets. You can see a bag. They've studied this video 1,000 times. You'll hear the things that they saw in looking at these videos. The male is seen on the trail cam exiting the defendant's apartment complex. That's how he gets onto the trail. It's further beyond outside the scope of this exact clip. But he gets on through a path from the defendant's apartment complex to this trail that leads onto campus. And this is Rogers Road. This is UGA Village housing for graduate students. And this is a bus stop that's used by students to take the bus to get to a class.
Watch this damn creeper.
This individual is seen at this door that you're going to see in the bottom or the middle of your screen. That's apartment 114. And in that apartment, 114, building S, lives a graduate student. She's an Indian national. Her name is Tejaswi Sarathi, and she is here at the University of Georgia studying. This defendant is seen trying to open her door at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Like, how creepy, man. Imagine being this like girl just there by herself. Like what was he gonna do? What? He was just gonna like go in there?
And there's about an hour's worth of video that was watched by UGA PD that between 7:01 a.m. and 7:57 a.m. on the 22nd day of February 2024, about 70 minutes before Laken Riley is murdered, This defendant goes to the door of apartment 114 6 times. Twice they can see on video that he attempts to open her door. And at one point, you'll see in the video where he ducks down. And that is
Very
because
smart,
at
Angela.
some point, the student inside heard him at her door, and she approaches him at the door and says, "Excuse me." And she will testify to this court that when she said that, she's looking at her peephole, he ducks down. And you can actually see that on the video. And just here's a portion of her 911 call where she calls at 7:57.
I was in the shower and then I heard some noises and I came to check that someone was, I saw through the peephole. Someone was trying to open the door. And then I said, "Excuse me," and then they just ran away. And then now they kept trying to look through my window. Okay, and what's going on?
So she says she was in the shower and she heard her door jiggling.
See, y'all, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, dang, another commercial. Come on, man. Oh, there, now it says skip. Bear with me, guys.
And she said that somebody was at her door. She says, "Excuse me." He ducks down and he tries to look through her back window and does look through her back window. This is her back window.
God, I
This is
hate
the
his
back
face
side
already.
building, yes, and this is exactly how it was that morning. This is body cam footage of Officer Bridges, who's one of the officers that responded. Her blinds are open wide. They're open, not only open, but they're pulled up more than halfway. The right side is her living room. The left side window is her bedroom.
For real.
Wide open. Her blinds were that morning. She said that's how she kept it because it was kind of a dark place. And it was more comfortable for her to have some light in. And that's how her windows were. And she said when she turned around, she could see the person who she can't identify. And we'll be the first to tell you she can't identify him. She didn't get a good look at his face. He had that hat over his face. He had a hood on. She describes the clothing, dark hat, dark jacket. Didn't get a look at his face because when she looked through the peephole, he ducked down, but she could see him peeping into her window, looking into her window. So the FBI CAS team is a specialized team with federal government that analyzes digital evidence. And they were brought in this case to look at data from the defendant's phone, the victim's phone, cell phone records, all of these things. And some of the data that they got from the defendant's cell Samsung, one of them, which is 1B7, which you'll hear a lot from, is called Rubin data. And Rubin data is something that's collected by Samsung. And the FBI CAS team analyzed Rubin data, looked at the Rubin data in this case. And at the time of the peeping at Tasia Swee's apartment, the defendant's 1B7 phone is right over her house. And these are the digital points by the FBI. But also there is a white styrofoam cup. In the video, you could see black gloves and the white styrofoam cup of the peeping. This cup was found by UGA PD as they were coming onto the trail to come to Laken Riley's scene. They thought it was unusual because there's no trash out there usually, and it's just sitting there. They collected the cup. And you can see in this next image, if you see where the retaining pond is in the middle of the screen, the cup is near there. So in between Building S, where Tasia Sweet lived, and in between where Laken Riley's body was found, was this white cup. That white cup was collected and sent to the crime lab at the GBI, and it is the defendant's DNA on the straw of that white cup in between the two crime scenes. So also out of his phone and out of his social media, the defendant, when he woke up that morning, kind of did us a huge favor and started taking pictures of himself. And here are the pictures that he took of himself and posted on Snap, and also it can be found on his phone. And one was taken at 4:30 a.m. The second one was taken at 5:37 a.m. And you see in that one that he is wearing the black Adidas cap with the stickers on it, with the same jacket, with the hoodie. Also, he took pictures of himself wearing the same shirt that you see in the video of B32 and the bag that was never found that you see on the side of him in some of the videos taken on the day of Laken's murder. And also you can see from, again, D124 and D125, the day before the murder, he is wearing the evening before the murder. So this is the 21st at 9 p.m. He's wearing the same clothes. So in the end, Your Honor, that is a summary of the evidence that the case, summary of the evidence that the state has in this case. You will hear forensic evidence. You will.
So that is, to me, is just insane that she played it out so beautifully. I was just like, case closed. She wins and he's guilty. Like, we're going to, like, there's definitely been a lot more that's been shown up into that part. And the case is dang solid. The defense went up there, gave us this little blurb, and it was, I'm not even going to bore you guys with the 5-minute presentation he gave, basically saying that the evidence that she had was circumstantial. She's like, it could have been somebody else in the household. There was 6 of them there, and even though it pinged there, it didn't mean that it was him. Like, but his DNA is on it. Like, they already checked the rest of the family's members. And then, of course, the mom, she's able to, I'm sure she did some sort of deal or something, but she did testify, or she's going to be on testifying against him. She was the one that pointed him out on the camera saying, hey, yes, this is Jose. So she knows her son going away, but they have the other ones detained as well. So it's just, to me, it's so gross. It hurts my damn head just thinking about it, but she did such a great job. Prosecution, like, chef kiss, girl, you laid it out beautifully. And it's just like, this is like, this world makes me so sad. Like, 17 minutes is a long time to fight. 17 minutes is a very long time, and she literally didn't give up until she had no choice. And that's just heartbreaking. Why is it always like the most beautiful people too? I swear, inside and out, have everything good going for them. And all she did was take the path that I'm sure she was always used to taking. Sad reality, but the only thing we could do is educate our kids, teach our kids all about these things and what the importance is of, telling everybody where you're at, wearing your watch, doing all those things. It really helped out a lot in this case to give them those data points, or else during that time that she was on that path where there isn't really good cell service and there's no cameras, they wouldn't have had all that information that would have helped. So good thing that we can at least have that. Rest in peace to beautiful Laken. Listen, girl, justice for your beautiful soul. And I hope they give it to you for this. I hope they give him the max if possible they can. And it better not just be deportation and then incarcerate him wherever, They have a special agent Daniela. I thought she was beautiful. I am going to cover the brief kind of, you don't want to sit through 8 hours. This is literally 8 hours. Each day has been that long. So it is a lot. So I'm just trying to do like high level overviews so we can keep having that discussion. But now that it's on YouTube, it's saved so everybody can kind of catch up and we can pick up and keep going with it. So by all means, if you guys find stuff too that you want to discuss or anything further with, you found some cool things to look at, I am absolutely love that. I do like to dive into stuff while I'm looking at the case. But I do like factual stuff, not just like, well, Cheryl down the road says this could be a possibility. Don't give me the conspiracy stuff. I'll look at that like after the facts are presented. But if you guys find more factual documentation besides what is presented in the court, there's a lot of stuff that I've been seeing too as I've been poking around, and it's kind of crazy. You say, I used to have a friend that ran all the time, and I told her you're crazy wearing your earbuds because you can't hear anybody coming behind you. And I said, at least wear one earbud so you can hear. Yes, I definitely believe that you should always have your ear out so you can hear, because unless you're cool, like I'm when I'm home and stuff, and everybody's like, I don't have to worry about anything. I'm putting my headphones on, but oddly, even when my hubby's not home, I got one ear out. Just you got to have that mom ear ready, So I don't ever do that unless I know he's home and it won't matter. he's here just in case. But I hate it though. If I'm listening to music, you best believe that I'm facing outwards. I'm not sitting with my back like out and exposed. I feel like I'm overly paying attention to everything, and I don't like to be caught off guard. Oh, you back. So there's that. Now the friends, if you guys saw, the friends were definitely great about kind of piecing together the timeline and why they were worried. The first one, I didn't really find it. Just she basically stated what the prosecution or what the state had already said, and kind of laid it out like, okay, I saw on her watch that she hadn't moved for 2 hours, and I thought that was, or I saw on the location that was odd for her. So immediately she starts doing, going over there. I also don't recommend if you found your friend's AirPod, like I feel like, okay, you're not going to leave one friend on the trail and then go like, because you don't want to leave her alone. So buddy system always. However, like if you, like they picked it up too, they grabbed it. Like I feel like they should have notated that was hers and at least not touched it with their fingers. At least they have an exact location of where it was located. But the fact they picked it up too, like, hey, no big deal. I mean, like, that's a little weird. She just running around losing like expensive ass AirPods. That doesn't make sense. But buddy system, guys, tell your kids that they're going out for jogs, they're doing something like that. Bring a friend. Don't ever go by yourself for these exact reasons. The streets ain't safe. That first one had fire coming out of her ear. She wanted to jump across and claw his eyes out. Thank you, Kimmer, but she never listened to me. She used to live in Long Island, New York. That's where I'm from, and she moved to Tennessee for a while, and maybe it was safe there. Oh, yeah. I think New York compared to Tennessee? That seems a little crazy. I feel like the South is definitely safer than Long Island, New York.
Who ate my ice cream? Biz?
Probably Biz. What a great friend. Chewing on her. They're real friends. Joe checking on her. Hit that like button and consider subscribing. But I appreciate you guys. I wanted to get on here for at least an hour and a half and talk to you guys about, the beginning parts, because this is a case I want to dive deeper. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm real tired of all the calls. I don't even listen to the calls now for the Wade trial. I just can't. Unless it's like Jesse's being arrested or something major, I just don't even want to get into it. I definitely want to be there for Bonnie, though. I want to hear that at least. I want to hear her whole story and how that transpires. And I do have a surprise coming up, but I don't want to drop it just yet. But either Thursday or Friday, we'll have a surprise for you guys. But I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to give anybody a heads up on that just yet. But I want you guys to. Has anybody else watched it so far? Has anybody watched all 4 days of trial, or have you just been getting into it as I've started talking? I know a couple people have told me they started like poking at it. Let me know. Where was the other guy too that I wanted to hear? Wanted you guys to hear. I definitely will cover that. I'm going to come back and do something with you guys tomorrow. Oh yeah, this part. Yep, I'm definitely going to come back and do something with you tomorrow. But I like to like try to crop it and get everything all in order, so that way we're not just fishing around. And I'm trying to learn how to be like these pros. I'll get there, But I also don't want to. I definitely need to upgrade the YouTube so I don't have commercials. That has to happen. You watched the last 2 days? You just caught me up to this point. Definitely interested in hearing more about it. Yeah, we're about Rich Hess. Is this day one opening statements? Yes, sarcasm. This is day one opening statements. Defense really didn't have much. It was very quick. Prosecution. I was so bored by it. I'm not going to play it for you guys. He literally just kept saying things were circumstantial, and really just gave no reason of why he didn't do it, or that he didn't say, hey, he wasn't in the area, or try to give any sort of excuse or defense for him. It was basically, it could have been anybody in his household. Yeah. And these are circumstantial, like that whole full thumbprint, because you're trying to say them cheap plastic gloves that he was wearing, he couldn't have gotten his thumbprint on it because he had them cheap gloves that already had holes in them. That was his defense. Like, that's what you're saying. You're really looking at us like, no, man. You need to go watch how Shapiro presented the glove, how that happened when he presented the glove and then had it. That's how it works. This isn't the same situation here. Dumbest thing I could have ever heard. I was literally like, is he really trying to say that it's impossible for him to have his biological thumbprint on the phone because the glove had only a small tear and it wouldn't have been that big? That's why I said, and it's a full, you guys saw that it was a full thumbprint. Like, dude, why are you, why are you lying to us? Why are you lying? Full thumbprint right there. Very noticeable too. He still looked like he had, it had some sort of blood or something because it was sticky and it literally pulled every damn thing off that thumb. So, I don't know, man. This one, it just seems overwhelming with the amount of DNA just out the rip. Like, most of the time they presented in the beginning, a little high overview, but man. And he's only going to have the judge determine this. He's not even having a jury of his peers. This is just, shocking to me, honestly. It's just, why? Let me know. We moved to Arkansas, but my son is still here. I'm scared for him all the time. He's not, though. Which has same Suffolk County. I can't believe the defense actually tried to make up a story because I heard that they may not do opening statement, but they did. Yeah, but it was so minimal of a opening statement that it like 5 minutes. Like hers was like a good solid 30, 35 minutes with bombs of facts. This guy presented no facts in his defense, just that it's circumstantial and that there's no way because that hole was too small in the glove to leave the thumbprint that it did, even though it was his 100% thumbprint. It just, I don't know, man. I guess it's probably, I'm assuming it's a court-appointed attorney and you get what you pay for type situation. But honestly, that was just the dumbest thing he could have tried to argue. You're trying to tell us that there's no way that cheap disposable glove could have let him make a thumbprint that was his. It clearly did. How do you know? Obviously he disposed of that glove in his house complex because that's where they found it. But he could have, the glove could have already been off or ripped. At that point, he's just frantic to get out of the area, right? So I feel like that glove might not even have been on his hand at that time. How do you know? It was not caught on camera. So that don't make the logical sense, First time catching a live. Love your channel. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more here. So at least they can save. Because I notice a lot of people get upset with me when they miss me. So I try to do different times all over so I can catch my fan base is all over. So I do notice I have a lot of people in the UK, Germany area, Australia. And then I have people on the West Coast. I have people on the East Coast. And actually pretty much cover everything so I can be everywhere and kind of have people catch me on live sometimes. And if not, at least it'll be there for you guys to watch back in case you do miss. So I appreciate every one of you guys for showing up tonight. I love you as always. I just wanted to come up here to start briefing you guys on this case so we can carry on with it. I'll have some more stuff for you tomorrow. So we'll be back again. I will post ahead of time so that way we can actually schedule it and I'll have it planned. So that way everybody's aware. We could get some people to rally and show up, and we'll do it earlier so it's not so late. It's 10 almost 10:30 here. So you love us, son. I love this room right now. It's the most peace that I've had in the last couple of weeks, and I absolutely love you guys for that. Hi? Can you say hi? Sure, go ahead. My kid wants to say hi.
The one I want.
She got her bonnet. Don't make fun of her bonnet, she said. She's so funny. I think the thumb of the glove was ripped when he was bashing the rock on her head. The ridges of the rock tore it. Then, hold on, let me see. The ridges of the rock tore it. Then he touched her phone with the ripped part and the thumbprint got on it. Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good logical theory right there of how that could have happened. I see it because there was pretty much holes all over the little cheap disposable gloves. Dude, even at the Dollar Tree for $1.25, I saw some gardening gloves. Those would have been better than whatever you were using. And what'd you say here? I agree, Carol. The state the state kicked it out of the park, and you're right. The defense was quick, but I just thought how disgusting that the defense is even going to try with all that evidence. I mean, I guess that's their job, right? Is to try. Someone's got to be that person, right? It's just crazy to me too that he's got like to have everything translated to him. They have to stop a billion times. They have him translating, and they got someone in his ear the whole time translating what he's hearing. So it's like I am really curious too, like how long he's lived here. If we can find some more information on that, of like when did they get that apartment and how long. I'm sure we'll hear a little bit long, maybe down the trial, but it would be kind of cool to kind of a time frame of like, well, when did he get here? How long has he been around? Does he know English? Is he trying to play people saying he don't understand and like, oh no English, and then but he really does understand. You don't see what at button. I'm glad you're here too. I don't feel comfortable on TikTok for some reason. Maybe I'm too set in my ways. I honestly regret going to TikTok first. I always went on TikTok and it was just like so calm and everything. But I noticed the maturity level is different. People are a lot more respectable and respectful on YouTube. And the other side, it's just crazy. It's crazy. There's not as much rules. And I don't know if it's just the fact of like who runs the apps. YouTube don't play. They don't let you do all the crazy stuff that you're allowed to do on TikTok. It's a circus show over there for that kind of stuff. So I feel the vibes way better. I just was struggling because I don't know anything about YouTube and learning it. So I'm getting there. But I promise you that this isn't the route that I want to stay with. I do like this. And it's something that I just got to get a better camera. I got to get a better mic for sure. And then I feel like it'll be a lot easier that way. But I'm going to get off here for tonight. I'll set it up for tomorrow so you guys can jump on and that way we can get it. I'm thinking like 6 p.m. ish is what I'm thinking of Eastern time. So that I kind of put it in the middle part for people. Don't feel bad, Coral. I don't have a clue what I'm doing on YouTube half the time. Yeah, for real. I don't think he knows English, but the vibe I'm getting, and you certainly don't need to know English to work at like McDonald's or fast food place. I learned that yesterday when I ate at Panera. I actually did run a McDonald's for a couple years of my life, and I saw that like a lot of the people that we had, like the ones that were on the grill, the ones that did like the cleaning, a lot of them didn't speak English, but we learned how to communicate to each other, basic stuff. I'd be able to kind of like tell them like basura, like rapido. They knew those words and I knew those words, and we were able. I did pick up a lot of like little things in between, but like I learned how to, and they learned how to. So it depends really. I really am curious of how long him and his family had lived in that apartment, how long they've lived in the States, when did they come over. So I really hope they break that down for us in the trial, or we could find more information on that. I also would be curious to find out about their neighbors. Is anybody else around that area? Like, what did you notice about this family? Kind of get some more info. But when they went in with the body cam, the apartment is so tiny. It's like you had 5 people on one bed, and there was only one bed and one couch, and the couch didn't even pull out. So everybody was just sleeping like sardines up in that bee. And the kitchen was so tiny; it only had like 2 burners, and you couldn't. It was a cram. The whole thing was a little box, a shoebox. That's crazy to me. And it's like, why didn't the guy go to a bar? Why didn't he go out? You're around a college campus. There's plenty of things, activities. You can't tell me you can't go find a girl that you decided that you're just gonna like stalk them through their window like a creep, and then go try to rape a random person and kill them. Like, it's just, to me, so bizarre to even think. Yeah, frustrating for sure. But I appreciate you guys. I'm going to get off here tonight, or else I'll stay on here for like 7 more hours because y'all keep me going in this comment section. But then it's not so fun when you have to rewatch it back. No one wants to sit through 6 hours. But I love y'all. I hope you guys have a great night. And be safe, y'all. Love y'all. How do you end it now?